You block your blessings by not being grateful. Why would God or whatever you believe in give you more if you can't already handle like what you have? Gratitude. Yeah. My gratitude is just an attitude. Gotta take the latitude to say that it's okay. It's not a platitude to feel some gratitude, to show your gratitude to the world today.
That was great. Gratitude, everyone. What a great introduction.
Gratitude, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. If you are listening to this the week it drops, Thanksgiving is 4 days away.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days away.
3 days away.
3 days away.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. I remember... No, I don't really remember last year's Thanksgiving.
I also don't remember last year's Thanksgiving
Truly
at
zero
all.
zip.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember stopping by Whole Foods to pick up some mashed potatoes, but because of COVID, they didn't have gravy.
Because
it was like liquid. It was like a liquid. I don't know.
That doesn't even make sense. Oh,
I don't know. The hot food place bar did not have any liquids.
That's really sad.
Because of COVID. So I picked up a pumpkin pie. We had like a fusion dinner.
Wait, yeah, no, I feel like, dude, my dad hates turkey. Like, he literally is like, that shit's so dry. You can never get it right. And so we just like always end up doing something like Korean, you know?
Like that karbi.
Yeah.
Or that seafoodish.
Like karbi.
Like, is there even a word for turkey in Korean? It's definitely not tteokki.
Tteokki.
It is not tteokki.
It's probably like an actual word. I feel like they would have one.
So the season of gratitude, thankfulness, gratitude,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
We're just saying the same words. Laughter, joy,
happiness. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and then soon after this, we're gonna get into the Noel, which
the jingle.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited.
The snow.
It's okay. Like, now is the time that it's officially acceptable to start playing Christmas music.
I know. I feel like it's been.
Oh, it's just a year-round thing.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
of course.
You're right.
Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you. In Canada, Thanksgiving. Oh, not that we're in Canada, but in Canada, we're all the same continent, so it's like the same.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving is October 11th.
So strange, dude.
So I feel like with like companies being in both Canada and the US, like they have to start
both
creating
off?
That's not where I was going, but I was gonna say, well, they have to start creating Christmas things for Canada anyways, because their Thanksgiving ends early October. Oh. So I feel like that's why. That might be a slight reason as to why you see more Christmas things coming out earlier here in the US. Is like my theory.
Julu fact.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a Julu fact, but it sounds like a reasonable Julu fact.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, I have some big news. Wow. Okay, so you know how I've been like working on jujitsu and all of that?
Yes.
Well, your girl got her first stripe.
Up top, girlfriend.
Thank you so much. I texted everyone I knew, including my parents, and my dad was like, oh, wow. In Taekwondo, I believe you get one stripe before you get your next belt, which is the yellow belt. And like just like kept going on. And so he thinks that I'm supposed to, move belts.
Well, what's the next belt color for?
It's blue.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, sir. There are definitely 4 stripes before.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Wait, like you could get that in 1 year.
No, I don't. Actually, but I don't know. I don't know what I don't think it's 1 year though. I'm pretty sure it's longer.
That's
and
crazy.
So yeah, I don't think I can like fully beat anyone up yet, but on the way. It's coming up.
Shrimping.
Yeah.
Shrimping.
And
Shrimping.
That's all you know, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. There's like arm bar.
Yeah.
There's like elbow mount escape.
Like this?
It's like where your arm is like twisted this way.
Oh,
and like you can't get out. Yeah. And then Guys, okay. So I've been like consistently going to the gym, but the only thing that isn't consistent is the time that I go, right? And so I feel like when you go at the same time, you obviously like see very much like the same people. And then I decided to go like after work hours, right? And so I went like 6 to 7, and I can't go at that time. The amount of people that I ran into that I have seen or talked to from the dating apps is crazy. Literally, in like, I've been going to the gym for like months now, right? Haven't really run into anybody except for like a few people here and there. But then on this one day, I literally ran into 3 people that I've talked to on the apps.
But you didn't say hi.
No, most definitely not.
But you know that they know that. You know.
You see, that's the thing. That's the thing, is I couldn't tell because of the masks. And so there's one guy that like we were talking like, or he was talking a lot. I wasn't really. He was talking a lot, and then I was like, hey, I don't really want to like do this. I don't want to talk anymore. And so definitely saw him, and I was like, oh my God, that's so uncomfortable. And then there was another guy who was like so majorly like flirty on the apps. Like it was like honestly like way too aggressive. And I was like, I am not about this. And so I went to his Instagram, right? And then I looked at his recently following, all small Asian girls. Literally, I was like, ew. I don't like it.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's so scary. And so, you know what? I am just gonna make sure to go when all of the like harmonies and harabajis go.
Yes.
You know?
No, I don't know why that story reminded me. Do you remember when we were in New York and I had matched with somebody and he was just like so flirty too over the apps?
Yeah.
Do you remember? And it just so happened to be that he was visiting the East Coast that weekend as well and like wanted me to come down to Boston.
Oh my gosh, what a waste of time.
It just reminded me of that. Like
when guys
so
are like
creepy.
too overly flirty, I'm like, can you chill?
Yeah.
Like, can you be a little bit more subtle about this?
But I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be
grateful for the attention. Grateful that people love my company.
No. That I am experiencing these things.
You're right.
Where I can start to identify what is yuck. What is yuck and yuck? You know?
You're right.
So.
Oh, beautiful. But yeah, how you been?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, I guess the I don't know is like a good I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Like nothing too crazy going on.
Moving on then.
All right. No, like truly, like I don't know. I've just been eating really good.
Ooh. Any restaurant recs? Any food recs? Have you been cooking?
No, you've been cooking.
I have been cooking.
I have been like cooking like a little bit, like really little bit. I'm starting off with frozen foods.
Okay.
And actually, yeah. How could I forget the story, you guys? Like, I don't know when to use avocado oil, when to use vegetable oil, when to use olive oil. Like, they just all kind of look the same to me.
Right.
So I freaking use vegetable oil because the fried rice package said to use vegetable oil.
Right.
But it doesn't tell you how hot the pan needs to be. So I pour in the oil, whatever. I open the bag of fried rice and I like start putting it in there, and I swear I was making popcorn. The pieces of rice were like literally flying everywhere. The countertop right next to where the pan was, like it was just full of rice. Like,
Are you
on the side, because it like popped up everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
It popped up everywhere. And yeah, that day, like I don't know what kind of mood I was in to have like wanted to cook so badly.
Right.
I cooked for an hour.
That's pretty average.
Because I went grocery shopping at like 11:45. And it was just Trader Joe's, so I don't think it was too long. Came home. I think we started eating at 1:05 p.m.
You see, that's the thing. It's like there's so much investment that goes into cooking that makes it hard, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's all the prep work. Like I understand.
And then I made like orange chicken that I remember it's supposed to be eaten crispy, but mine turned out soggy. The carby was fine.
Okay.
Just like burned a little bit, but it's like all right.
Okay.
Like a little char, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Some of that cancer.
Yeah.
According to my grandma, she's like, don't eat the burnt part. Cancer.
But it was removable.
Oh,
like
okay.
I think it was just the sauce that was like.
You burn the sauce?
Yeah, it's like
Not the actual meat, but the sauce?
the sauce. You know the sauce.
The sauce?
Yeah. So, anyways, I made popcorn rice. I guess.
Not your popcorn chicken.
So
you got soggy chicken, popcorn rice.
Yep, and burnt kogi.
Okay.
But you know what? At least I'm like trying. You know what I mean?
No. Honestly, I think a lot of it is like effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, today we're talking about
Gratitude.
And I think that like when we are talking about topics and like what we want to speak about this week, obviously this is very fitting. And also like I think it has just like served as a really good reminder.
Yes.
For me personally, like this entire week, every single day I've been like, you know, doing research, and it's just been like really rewarding to like do morning affirmations of gratitude and like kind of like recount like why we have these gratitude practices, because it just like makes you like a more happy person.
Yes. Not the other way around.
Yeah, because I think that like, you know, in doing like some research, there are a lot of people who talk about gratitude, and it's not that happy people are grateful for what they have. It's kind of the opposite. And so when you have this attitude of gratitude, it makes you more happy. And so yeah, it just like opens up the opportunities for you to just appreciate where you're at, everything that you've been given or blessed with, and so that you can like receive more.
Yeah. And so if you had to put like your definition of gratitude in one sentence, what do you think of? Like, what do you think of? Like, what would it be? Like, what does this attitude of gratitude entail?
I think at its most basic level, it's being aware of your blessings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And
Very nice.
Also, if I can share, okay, something about Steve Harvey lately. Damn, he be dressing well. He has a very okay, dude. Steve Harvey's daughter, like I'm just shocked. I'm shocked at Lori Harvey. I'm like, wow.
Who is Lori Harvey?
Oh, she's dating Michael B. Jordan, and they're Isn't that crazy?
That's her?
Yeah.
Her dad is Steve Harvey?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Like this girl, like the same girlfriend that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Like the really pretty.
The beautiful.
Like the beautiful.
Stunning.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So were you going to share something?
And so something that he was saying is that you block your blessings by not being grateful. Like it doesn't like make sense in terms of why would God or whatever you believe in give you more if you can't already handle like what you have? And I feel like that just like shook me. Like, okay, like let that sink in.
Gosh.
Like you block your blessings by not being grateful. Like there's no way the universe, God, would give you more if you can't handle what you already have.
I'm shooketh.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, no wonder she bagged Michael B. Jordan.
Wait, I'm freaking shooketh. It's making me emotional. That's really deep.
Yeah.
Wow. 2 thoughts right off the bat. That is something my parents have actually said to me. Like something similar, right?
Yeah.
I think just like growing up, there have been times where I would just be like, oh, how come like we don't have how come we don't have a swimming pool in our backyard? Right? Just kind of like, oh, why don't we have this and this?
Yeah.
And my mom would just answer by saying like, God provides like what's right for you. Right? Like nothing more, nothing less. Like he'll give you exactly like what you need type of thing. And so, yeah, like, I mean, at that time, my dad was not in the States, and just, you know, it was like perfect for the 3 of us, like where we were living.
Right.
And then also that second thought was when I was going through a really hard time, this one verse that my dad shared with me was also kind of in the same vein of how, you know, for me as a Christian, right? God only puts you through things that he knows you can handle. Right?
Yeah.
So same thing. Yeah. Like, of course, like he's not going to like be throwing me in like a fire pit.
He wouldn't
drown.
He wouldn't make you go camping.
Exactly. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Yeah. Like, you know, he'll like even in times of struggle, yeah, in the moment it'll seem really difficult and like it's the end of the world or whatever, but it's like you're experiencing it because it's going to be a blessing at the end of the day. You just can't see it now.
Right.
But it's going to be at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that you made a really good point as well, that like dude, in the moment, a lot of times it's really hard to be like grateful for like a ticket. It's not like saying like I'm grateful for this ticket because it taught me a lesson. Like you can acknowledge that it sucks.
Yeah.
But I think that like in the long run, and when you're able to look at things with hindsight, that's when like things become a little bit more clear. And that's why we have to like, I think it's important to kind of like remind ourselves throughout the day, week, month, because we're like forgetful. Year 2 years, decade. Century, because we're forgetful, right? Like we as humans, we're forgetful, and so like it's really hard to like express gratitude every day. Like to be completely honest, I don't do that.
Oh yeah, and I don't know. This might also be a Julu fact, but somewhere I picked up this Julu fact that it's just so easy to remember the negatives. Right?
Yeah.
Like if we are hopping on a call just to like catch up with each other, I think it'd be a lot easier for me to gossip about somebody or tell you what happened while I was driving on the way to wherever I was going.
Right.
As opposed to maybe me telling you, oh, this morning, like my mom and dad made me this delicious breakfast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
my dog was being the cutest ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so easy to shift our mindset mentality to the negative things.
Yeah. And so I think like, you know, for us in our life experiences, like we've both like, I'm sure gone through times where like our gratitude was like non-existent.
Yes.
And I think like pretty like early on, yes. Like, do you have like a time like when you maybe took for granted certain things or people in your life?
So right off the bat, I could think of two big, I would say, recent events that I think played a key and crucial role in probably what would differentiate from like my youth and like super, super young adult to like young adult / adult. The first being going to school 3,000 miles away from home. I would go through the same experience if I had to, like again. But that was truly like freshman year particularly was one of those things where in the moment I would dread just being there. Well, actually I didn't really dread being there. I mean, I love the cold weather, but I mean, imagine having like gloomy weather. It's like Seattle weather, Seattle, Vancouver weather every single day. And for somebody who was like so not used to that, it was a hard adjustment.
Like get yourself a lamp for sure.
Exactly.
Like one of those sun.
Yeah. The vitamin D. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that is what I think of. But an even more recent event was, I think, transitioning out of college, getting into the, you know, the workforce of corporate America.
Yeah.
And one of the experiences I had, like where do we even begin?
Dude, I know. Where do we begin? Because truly, I think I've been on this journey.
Yeah.
With you for sure. We all have.
Oh yeah. It was maybe like close to a year's adventure is what I'd like to call it. An adventure.
Yeah.
Because now I'm very grateful for it.
Right.
But obviously in the moment I wasn't very grateful. I was so confused. I was angry. I was like frustrated and bitter. Like literally all the synonyms of the words I just said. Like that's how I was feeling.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so okay, I'm gonna try to make this like a TLDR, a little longer than a TLDR, but not as long as it should be. So at the time of my life that this happened, I was going to school. I was going on dates.
Right.
And I was like living back at home. Like COVID had it wasn't super strict, I think.
Okay.
It was like before the second wave, I would say. I just like so many things. For one, I think having come from like a workspace where my manager was super supportive, like I don't think any other workplace would have treated me like they did in a good way. Like they were teaching me so many personal life lessons.
Right.
And the management style was just completely different. But number two, it was the first time I couldn't socially really fit in to the company. And so it was actually the first time in any type of setting where I feel like I wasn't socially integrating well. And so the workload is stressful, but it was enjoyable. The work was actually enjoyable, but I think it was more so like trying to work with people that honestly I would categorize as toxic.
Shit.
Like,
and I feel like you're pretty like tame with your word usage, right? Like you don't really use the word like hate.
Yeah.
And so for you to call something toxic, like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and like I'm sure this person wasn't toxic to everybody, but I know, at least for me, I feel all right saying that because I was losing a bunch of hair. Like my hair is finally growing out again right here, my baby hairs.
Dude.
And I had just so much hormonal acne because like something in my body like truly felt like it was unbalanced.
Oh my god.
Like the whole, like I know you don't actually, no, you definitely feel hormones, but you don't feel the actual element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could just, I knew something was so internally screwed up because of the wacky, like, I don't know, like stress hormones, like probably shooting out like left and right.
Oh god.
And so this was, if you guys have been following, this was kind of around the time when I was trying to go to a bunch of my doctor's appointments, trying to figure out what was wrong with me.
Right. Right, because you're losing hair, you like weren't feeling well, you're breaking out, and that's so like abnormal and like such like telltale signs that like something is internally not okay.
So here I knew this was not the place for me.
Right.
But I think my value for stability and honestly my personal ego was what probably made me stay longer than I should have.
Right. Because we hear oftentimes about how like this generation of workers, like you guys just hop from job to job. And so I think a lot of times like being in this generation, like we want to fight that stereotype. And so that totally makes sense. Yeah.
So like kind of fast forward, kind of like meshing this entire experience together. Obviously I knew this was not the place for me. And so I think just knowing and reminding myself that, okay, you know what, this is like not the last stop. Like I'm in my early 20s. This is like not it for me.
Right.
Although it was still very dreadful. Like just like having that in the back of my mind helped me. And I was also like kind of passively looking for new opportunities. Right.
Right.
And so how this ties into gratitude is I was applying to everywhere, everything. The span of months I was applying, I think it was maybe like 300. I was proud of myself for that drive and that motivation because even applying, creating those cover letters, setting those interviews is really hard. But then I realized at one point, like, do I even want to work here? Like, why did I even apply?
Like why am I applying to places that like I literally feel no connection with? Yeah.
And so I paused somewhere in the middle because I felt like I lost that focus, right? Like I was honestly kind of working like a zombie because I really wasn't gaining anything from the company. But I think you use this word a lot. Like I was kind of jaded at that point of just like I was kind of numb. Like truly I was like a zombie. I was just like the expectations were just so low. That every day was kind of going by like that. I had lost kind of that focus of like why I was trying to change like organizations, companies. And so I gave it a break. But also because for me as a Christian, like I felt that I was just taking matters into my own hands. Right. And so going back to kind of what I said at the start of the episode, like I was gifted with something I could handle and found this other extraordinary opportunity. Right. But through it all, it was kind of crazy because when the stress started to really kick in is when I took this emotional intelligence test for school, and it identified that my very top are actually gratitude and like optimism. And then my lowest strength is stress tolerance. And just like feeling micromanaged, I'm not a pushover, right? I'm also not one to just stay quiet.
Right.
And so I needed to send these like mini signals to this person, right?
Okay.
So honestly, I was pretty freaking petty. And like, I think what made me even more angry at the moment was the fact that this person would bring this side out of me. Like, I didn't even know I could be like that, but they would anger me so much that they would bring out this ugly side of JJ.
Oh, God.
And so whenever I'd leave the desk, I made these little signs, and it was actually for this person.
Okay.
But I didn't write like it was just for everyone walking by. But no, it was like for this person.
Right.
Like when I would go on lunch, I just write at lunch. If I was in a meeting, in meeting. Or if I was going on like my 15-minute break, it would be like be back in 15, and I'd like post it, but directly so that it could be seen from this person's office.
Oh my god.
But I only had like two directions that it could go, and it was like one or the other, and the other was like
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. So it would have to kind of be that way.
Right.
But my close friend, like coworker at that place was like, this person's not stupid. Like they know. And I was like, good.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't want them to think I wasn't working. But
so
like the culture of the area of the company was like they would eat like lunch at their desks.
Yeah.
Right. And work through it. I am not about that.
Yeah.
I'm not about that.
Yeah, no. Like, let's spend half the day just like catching up with coworkers, you know? Like, let's like not really work, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what really needs to get done?
Exactly. Like, let's go on a 30-minute coffee walk.
Yeah. No, but truly, I think like a lot of times, like when you first join the workforce, like it can be confusing when you do have the like good culture of like, oh, how was your weekend? Like, it's more personal than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you're thrown into something so starkly different where it's like so cold, like you're really staring at your computer doing like looking at an Excel sheet while you're eating lunch, like go outside, like go see the sun, like that shit is not healthy for you to just stay inside under those artificial lights all the time. And so
I also thought I might have been breaking out because the air quality was like probably no bueno.
Oh God.
You know?
And also I will say the entire time that you were going through this like really tough time at work, like I couldn't really like do anything but pray. And it was crazy because I like saw the difference in your personality. Like I was like, Julie needs to get a new job.
Well, that's so crazy because going back to just like my ego, I kid you not, like I did feel very supported from the start. And how it all started actually was I came home one day and I was just like, I think I was just so shook this day at how I think this was the day I knew I don't think anything I do is going to let me like these people.
Right.
And I don't think these people are going to like me. And so I'm having dinner with my parents and my mom, you know, moms can tell. So my mom's like, is everything okay? And I was like, no, work is hard. And my dad being a dude was like, I mean, is the work hard or are the people hard? And I was like, oh, the people. And my dad was like, if it's work, like that's all right because you can learn it. But if it's the people, that's like on you. And I think he meant it. He definitely meant it from a good place. But yeah, I was just saying like that's like in your control, right? Like if your work is hard, then yeah, maybe you need to like ask people for help and stuff. But if it's like social stuff, like is that in your control? Is kind of how like he was directing the conversation. And I was like just so, I think not triggered, but that triggered the cry button. I think my dad was so shocked because we were literally in the middle of dinner and it was like waterworks. Like it wasn't no like teardrop down my face. It was like the ugly cry, right? Like like one of those. Yeah. And so then anyways, yeah, like at that dinner, like my parents were just like obviously they're concerned.
Right.
And I mean they were very supportive. They were like, you don't need, like I was going to school at the time. My mom's business needed some help anyways. And so my mom was like, you don't have to work right now if you don't want to, which, right? Like just even having that opportunity, I'm very grateful for.
Right.
But not only were they supportive, but I remember when our friend Becky was visiting, all of you guys were just like, you need to like, not like you need to like move your company because I guess I didn't realize how much I used to talk about my previous experiences and you guys could just tell like my lack of enthusiasm and so I called some mentors, people I would trust, like for like professional development. And then one of them looked just like we were FaceTiming and she just kind of looks through the camera and was like, girlfriend, you need to run, is what she said.
Hearing that from a mentor, like a professional mentor, like shoot. Yeah. But I think through it all, like honestly, I can see the growth as a person. Like you learned a lot. Also, like I'm so proud of your fucking pettiness. Dude, who makes science?
I know.
Who makes science?
I hope that like gave you, it's obviously not too detailed, but I hope that gives you kind of the overview. And I'm just going to say, I'm grateful because I think I learned so much about me. Right? Yep. You know, both of us, we listened to a TED Talk by, I'm really butchering his name, but it's David Steindl-Rast. Steindl-Rast. I think that's it.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, he was saying like, obviously don't be grateful for violence. Like don't be grateful for
sickness.
Yeah.
Like natural disasters.
Murder. Yeah, like absolutely not. But it's when you like recognize the opportunity that comes from these situations, right? And so sometimes it's so hard to see the opportunity that arises from the hardships.
Right.
But for example, for me, like I'm obviously grateful that I like was able to find this opportunity during this like hard time when like businesses were closing and like right, like of course, like I'm so grateful for the opportunity, right? Am I grateful that I lost probably so much hair that I probably, I don't know, technical term like telomeres, right? Like probably, I don't know, maybe shortened my life a little bit from the amount of stress I went through.
Yeah.
Like no. But at the end of the day, what I've gained coming out of the situation is a bigger plus for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like at the workplace, I can be unfiltered. So saying things and then realizing, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or even like recognizing, understanding, being exposed to people that don't see eye to eye with me, and how am I going to deal with those types of people when we don't agree on things.
Right.
Or even like the biggest thing that I learned about myself is like, damn, like why are you so bad at masking your face? You know?
Right. Like people can tell what you're feeling at all times because your emotions are just right there.
No, bro, it gets like more physical than that. Like I feel like now it's gotten so bad that I will physically turn red when I get flustered. Like you can see it. So one of the earlier events that happened with this person that I had a lot of problems with.
Shot beef with,
Yeah, like this person did something that I thought was extremely rude to another like coworker, right?
Right.
And this was like very early on, like when I started at the company. And I could not, like I was so shook at this person's behavior that I turned bright red. Because like I know I did because I could feel heat from my face.
Right.
And so like they obviously, I think they knew too. And we talked about it at some point.
Oh gosh.
But anyways, yeah, just like what I'm coming out from it, like things that I could work on, things that like maybe, I don't know, sometimes I think it might be a bit selfish of me, like the way I think about it. But I think that's what also helps me. Like I guess it's awareness. Right?
Yeah,
sometimes I feel selfish, but it's also like maybe the fact that I'm aware of it allows me to be grateful for these blessings.
Yeah.
Right?
No, truly. Also, I don't think it's selfish. Like
Thank you.
we are here to live our own lives, like here to learn about ourselves in the long run. And so I don't think it's selfish at all.
Thank you.
But yes, you endured, you came out of it with so much. And so I'm very glad that you're out of it. I'm so glad, dude. I told everyone when you got a new job. I literally was like, Mom, like Julie got a new job. And she was like, why are you gonna get a job? I told my roommates, like I told everybody. I'm like, you don't know blank? Like they're in the blank verse. And so I'm very happy for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and like even for me too, like I think that like it was always really hard when like I struggled socially, because growing up, like dude, I didn't really like struggle too hard, right? Because like, you know, to like share upon like my own experience, like when I was in high school, and like I think like to an extent when a lot of us were in high school, like we all kind of like knew our place, right? Like you had your set group of friends, like you knew who you hung out with, you knew which SAT camp you went to after school. And so like when all of that ended for me, like junior year, and then I went like straight into college, I think that it was like a very tough time, because it was the first time like I was struggling socially. Like I would literally go up to people, like didn't really know what to say, like didn't know how to like start a conversation. Like I was like, shit, I can't believe I don't know how to make friends. But of course it makes sense. And so like, you know, like when you go to college and you have all of the pressure of making these lifelong friends, like the friends who are gonna be your bridesmaids, and like having those like solid like groups where you'll go on ski trips together, like you'll go to Cabo together on spring break, like you guys will all go out to a frat party dressed in a certain theme, like everyone's outfits coordinated. Like I think a lot of like that pressure really got to me, and I just felt the need to really like throw myself into like the social scene at school, that I kind of like neglected a lot of my home friends. And like that includes like you, that includes our like recent guest Julia, Lauren, like a lot of our friends like I did not talk to for like months on end. And like mind you, like all of you guys were like in the city, like literally neighboring, like we were 30 minutes away. And the fact that like I was consciously making the decision to be like, oh, I don't want to like waste my time on these friendships because I should be building these friendships like in college. Like I look back and it's like really sad because I think I really took you guys for granted. And like soon after that, I think is when like I finally accepted like these are like such close friends. Like I don't know why I'm like not more proud to like show them off, like why I don't want to like continue the relationship.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about like when this would have been, and my immediate thought was, oh, I don't think I felt it as much because I was like 3,000 miles away. But I'm like remembering, I mean, that's not the case because when I was a senior, you were a freshman.
Yep.
And I can't remember too much because you never came home.
No, I was literally MIA. Like, did not text you guys, like, did not FaceTime, like, did not, like, nothing. Literally nothing. Because I don't know, like, a part of me was just like they'll always kind of just like be there, like let me focus on like making friends. But the fact that like I put you guys on the back burner, I think looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are literally like my childhood best friends. Like these, like I have so many core memories with you guys, and the fact that like you guys all like the only rave that you went to, I was also there, but I was hanging out with other friends. Like that makes me so sad.
I think Julia was the only one that like couldn't go to that
because she was in Korea.
No, that one was so fun. And I remember that one so much because like I had just come back from a tundra and I was like, just my booty was frozen the entire school year. And then I come home and it was so in a really hot like location. And I remember everyone was dying, but I loved the heat so much. I was bare, like skin touching the concrete floor, and I was like, oh, this feels great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, like I literally can't say that like I went to that like festival, rave, whatever with you guys because I didn't.
But you know what's so funny? My only picture memories I have, like the physical proof, is with you
because I showed up for the photo op and then I left.
Right here. If you guys go on my Instagram, you could probably
like you can find it.
I archived it, but I don't think I did.
But like no, I like really took you guys for granted, and so I think that like now knowing that like you guys are the people that like have my back, like you guys aren't people that should just be on the back burner. I think that like that's why you guys will get random texts from me being like, hey, miss you guys, thinking of you guys, or like, hey, hope you guys are doing well, or like just like a bunch of hearts. Like it's literally because I think that I like have these like waves of gratitude that come by. And it's like, you never know like what's going to happen in our lives. Like people may move away. Like we're going to be like in different life stages soon. Like you don't know like what you have, especially like in that season until it like is gone. And so I think like a big part of like growing up is realizing like if you're having like a really good time, or like you and a friend get really close, or you're doing a sport that you really love, like you really have to like just like relish in those moments because like, dude, in 2 months it could be done, like it could be over.
I like that.
Yeah.
So when you were sharing that, actually a thought that came to my head, like it's something that I say frequently, is contrast brings clarity, right?
Oh yes.
And I feel like I can understand, like I'm sure the hardships you were going through, none of us could probably really understand,
right?
Because we haven't really experienced it. But also number two, I think for me going to college, meeting these people, at least for me, helped to like solidify and clarify just how important and like grateful I should be for the people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then another thought I just had while you were just talking is this is maybe a skill of mine or maybe even ours, because like you've just kind of said it.
Yeah.
Is realizing the contrast that brings the clarity before it even happens.
Ooh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't want to lose it before I regret and mourn, and you know what I mean? Like I don't want to lose it before that happens. Like I want to realize that before I lose it and be like you just said, it might go away in 2 months. Who knows? So why don't we just like appreciate it, soak everything up now?
Yeah. No, exactly.
And so I'm gonna be honest, like for example, like that's why I always like find myself in a weird mix when I'm like trying to persuade myself to move out. Yes, I want that freedom, but also how much longer am I gonna be able to like eat these home cooked meals or have the I truly think it's like a privilege, right?
Yeah.
To like have such a good relationship with my parents where I can tell them about work, tell them about our friends, right? Like they know all your names.
Right.
Because I know so many people, so many of our friends, especially here in LA, there are so many people our age who are thousands of miles away from their families and homes. And so I think that is also something we are good at.
And I think a really good point there is also like, because we don't have like the experience, for example, of like being away from our parents, it's really hard to like even fathom what that's like. Especially when it comes to family, I think like that's a big point of like gratitude. Literally like my dad, in order to kind of like build a little bit of gratitude within my sister and I, he's been like recently really talking to us about like our family history and our family past and like how much it took to get here. Like literally the story, you know, of like coming to the Americas. And I think that like kind of learning about the immigrant experience has been really, really beneficial in terms of like realizing like, dude, we are so blessed to be like given the life that we have. And I know that like this is something that we have grown up in, and so a lot of times it's hard to realize, but like even like the simple things of like having money for textbooks, like not needing to like worry about like the cost of like extracurriculars, like all of that are like points of gratitude that I don't think I like realized until like hearing that like my dad didn't have those same experiences, right? Like his parents like worked months, right? My grandparents worked months to give him like $50 for like a calculator that he needed for school, and he got it stolen. And to have to go back and like
the TI,
it was one of the
I don't even remember what they're called.
Me neither. 85 graphing calculators,
is that what they're called?
Yes.
The monster.
Yeah, I love them. I love them so much. I love calculators. But like for him to have to go back to his parents to be like, hey, like I basically just lost months of work. Like that's crazy to me. Like that is so crazy to me. And so I think that like even like the simple act of like asking your parents like what their childhood was like how they grew up, like I think it's a point of like connection that we don't really like think about, like something that we also take for granted a lot.
And I think especially, you know, for you and me, we're in LA, right? Like everything's all about the new, the trend, like the latest. It's just crazy here how we think that's like the bare minimum. And I think that relates to kind of that concept of like comparison is like the thief of joy. Where like if you're constantly comparing what you have and what you don't have to all the people around you fucking flexing on social media, like it really takes away from like everything that you actually have. This was something that David Mann also said, like the steps are to stop, look, and go, right? So when you stop, look what you have, and that's when it triggers your brain. Like this is kind of not the context to use it in, but it still works. Like when you realize that, like your brain like realize that, then you won't be chasing after like the things that you don't have when you realize how much you do have.
Right. Because like take for example people who don't express gratitude, they are so exhausting. Like they are exhausting people to be around because it's constantly like complaining, like, oh, like so and so did this to me, like so and so like unfollowed me, like I don't like whatever the fuck it is, but it's just like constant like complaining and or like just like looking forward, like, oh, like I'm not happy yet until I have this thing, I'm not happy yet until I get this body, I'm not happy yet until I get this guy, like it's always like what's next rather than like, oh, hey, like, dude, slow down. You know,
it's like eating away all the joys, like you said.
Truly.
And actually there was something I wanted to share. Don't see it, so this is gonna be super nerdy and I'm so excited to share.
I hope that this is a science joke, because you know we have to stay consistent with like, you know, our science jokes.
It is like, you know it is. All right, so I was talking to a very close person in my life, and I was like, so all right, like there must be some medical reason for why people who are grateful are happier. Right? And that TED talk that we listened to didn't get too sciencey. It was more just like, I swear he said the word opportunity like 100 times. It was like opportunity.
Like so much respect to David, but truly I was like, sorry, what's going on?
So here we go. Keep up with me. There are neurochemical changes being made when you have positive affected bias / positive thought, right? So for example, and this wasn't the example, but like this is my example of the example because it helped me understand better. For example, when you're learning new material to study for a test, right? You go over it once and that creates, like if you visually picture it out, that definitely created something in your brain, right? Like this is new information. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And I think like reading over it one time, might have created that information trail, you know? But it's like the more you reread that, right? It's going to make that stronger, right? That memory. And this was a term he gave me. It was neural circuitry, right? So you're creating that neural circuitry of like that new information. But when you are repeating that new material, it gets stronger and stronger. Thus, creating myelination. And we all know myelination, that sheath that we learned from the axon and like the, you know, like kind of looks like a sperm, but it's like it's like a ginseng looking thing.
I'm so sorry, I don't remember this.
What do you mean? I feel like that's the only thing I remember.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay. The myelin sheath. So the fact that it's like, I think, okay, I'm like, only just like science people are gonna be like, that's so wrong.
It's fine.
But myelin sheath, I think myelination is when it gets stronger, like when it gets thicker, so that the neuron, neural pathway. So
the sperm gets girthier.
Sure. I don't think sperms can get girthier, but if that's what's gonna help you remember it,
no,
whatever floats your boat. Because I think you're forgetting, or you're like mixing up the sperm and the thing that the sperm comes out of.
Oh my god,
because that can get girthier.
I don't like this anymore.
Okay, so going back to the neural circuitry and the myelination, when you practice actively, like maybe it doesn't even need to be actively, but like when you're practicing positive affected bias, just like yourself, I think it creates like it's creating those neural pathways that make you happier, more grateful in general as a person.
You know what's funny is actually like my mind went straight to affirmations. And so like, for example, I think that during quarantine, when I was at a really low place, one of the only ways to kind of like get myself out of there was just to do like passive things, like turn on like a morning affirmations video on YouTube. And like the simple act of being like, I am worthy, I am grateful, like for everything that I have in my life and whatnot, like really helped me to just like kind of like build myself back up. And like now that you explain the science behind it, like it's not like so woo-woo. You know what I mean? Like people used to be like, oh my God, like this person is such a hippie, but like to be like, to see how far our society has shifted is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say that I have a parking gene?
Yes.
And so like, this seems unrelated. It's related, I swear. But like, okay, so like growing up, my parents would always be like, oh, I have the parking gene. Like my parents would always get really good parking in parking lots, right?
Because you were in the car.
because they were there, because both of my parents have
the parking
gene.
Okay.
And so they passed it on to my sister and I. And dead ass, literally ask any one of my close friends, including you.
Yeah.
Like, you can affirm this.
Yeah.
I get bomb parking.
Oh yeah. Even last week at like the concert we went to, we found a parking spot like a mini block away from the restaurant we were eating, like street parking.
Yeah. Like
Pow.
literally every single time. And I'm like, I have the parking gene. And so I feel like maybe because parking gene passed down from my parents in combination with me constantly telling people I have the parking gene, you know, all the
neural circuitry, neural pathways
has built up, you know, the positive thoughts.
The positive
that
thoughts.
positive psychology, baby.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, that actually makes me think like maybe that's why like maybe I'm just a grateful person because I am my number one cheerleader. Yeah. Because I'm so used to telling myself from a younger age, like, you look great.
Oh,
like looking at myself in the mirror, like, who is that sexy thing? You know?
Are we sounding like what's going on? Also, I want to say that I'm very thankful for you. I feel like through this past year, I've just had a lot of experiences with different types of people that have made me very grateful to have you by my side.
Wow, thank you. I'm grateful for you too. I'm so grateful. I think this year, I mean, it was crazy, right? Like I was showing you my planner from this year, just bought my 2022 one. I think going through, looking at everything we did, everything we planned. I mean, there was one point when I didn't see Hannah, like, twice a week? Well, even if I didn't even see her for a week, it was like, why has it been so long? Yeah. But also going back to what you just said, like, people come into your life, and when they exit, like, I hope you learn something too. Yeah. Right? I think everybody, like, you interact with everybody for a reason. And I hope that reason has something to do with you having learned a lesson. Yes. Right? Yes, 100%. And so maybe this is just back to my optimism and gratitude, but people who are great help me and remind me to be like, oh, I need to be more humble. Or like, oh, like they carry themselves so well. Right. Like, I want to be like that. Yeah. But when you also come across an unpleasant person, it's like a reminder. Another example. Like, oh, let's try to not be like that. Yeah. So I'm also grateful for seeing those types of examples, the contrast that brought me clarity. Yes. So in conclusion, guys, like, truly count your blessings every chance you get, though you may not be like super consistent with it. Like, I think that like when you do get those waves of reminders, like I will literally not like practice gratitude for like weeks, and then there's just one night where I'm like, oh, I'm grateful like for this person, I hope this person's doing well. And so when you do get those like reminders, like just like take advantage of it. And you know, building a gratitude practice into your life, I think it's going to extend your lifespan. Oh, I'm making shit up now. I don't think it extends it, but it will stop it from shrinking. Maybe practicing gratitude will improve the quality of your life. Oh, of course. Yes. It'll improve the quality of your brain too. Oh, let's go. You'll have a stronger brain. Let's go circuitry. Stronger brain equals sexier brain. You know what I mean? I want a sexy brain. Yeah. I want a sexy brain too. Yeah, I think you have a sexy brain. Like brain must I'm working out my brain right now. Are you moving your brain? Are you trying to move your Stop, you're gonna get wrinkles. You're right. Yeah. But I'm grateful for that too. I'm just grateful. I'm scared of aging, but that's okay. Me too, but I'm grateful. Yeah. Because I'd be happy to even have the opportunity to age. That's the end. Yeah. So call your mom, call your grandparents. Yeah. Hit up your sister, brother. Or if you're an only child. Be grateful for if you're an only child, maybe your pet. Yeah. Maybe your close friend from college. Yeah. Look at your car and be like, man, I own a car. That's crazy. With your laptop, and give it a little dust off. Yeah, a little like, thanks for helping me do all the work Or
that's making me the money.
Exactly.
That's buying me the things.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to Google things or YouTube things.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well, I think that is it.
Yes, I hope. Yeah. I hope you're coming out of this being grateful for something.
Yeah. Have a very good Thanksgiving if you guys celebrate Thanksgiving. If you don't, just like
have a good
meal on us, on behalf of us.
Yeah, on us. Yeah, on Hana. You can memo charge her.
No.
No, have a good time. And it's the winter holiday is coming real close. I'm so excited for Christmas. I actually started making Christmas lists today.
Get on it if you haven't. But you guys can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at bulgogipod, on Twitter at bulgogipodcast, me on Instagram at HANAKATTT,
and me at BEJULIFIED.
And we would be so grateful if you guys could share this podcast with your friends. Yes. We're on YouTube now.
Yes.
Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We haven't asked you guys to do that in a while, so please go ahead. And Julie is now looking at toenail videos, so we're gonna exit. We're gonna exit.
All right. One, two, three.
You're gross.
I like toenail videos. I'm telling, if you guys haven't been exposed to toenail videos yet, they're way better than pimple popping videos.
No. Have you seen the Thai pimple popping videos? Like they're from it's the people based in Thailand.
Why are theirs different?
The quality of the video, the amount, significantly better.
Bro, when you're looking at these toenail videos, here's just like a little snippet. Like when you see that there had been like a 2-3 centimeter ingrown toenail inside the skin on the side, and they're just like pulling that out, it's like
okay, but like, have you felt that pain?
I actually have.
And so don't you like, that's what I think of. It's like, I'm like, it's so fucking painful.
Refreshing.
Oh my God.
It's so refreshing. And like everyone, I'm just telling you, like when you hop in the shower, make sure you're cleaning between your toes and inside the toenails. Make sure you dry them if you don't want no ingrown toenails.
Okay.
So.
And
be grateful for your toenails.
You're right. I'm glad I have a pinky toe nail. Pinky toenail.
I hate you. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.